Greetings, adventurer, and welcome to Andra'Cil, a land of contrasts and mystery, where the civilized citizens of Trinity meet the free folk of the savage tribes, where the remains of bygone civilizations and ancient temples are reclaimed by nature and guarded by wild beasts and mysterious magic. A land long ago abandoned by the gods, at least if you believe the inhabitants of the Trinity civilization. They continue to practice the ancient rituals though, for these still empower the ritualist to channel the power of the domains once controlled by the gods. With the gods gone, the people follow the ideals of the saints who were once mere mortals, who have gained phenomenal powers by mastering their respective domains rather than blindly worshipping some absent gods. The virtues of these saints are something to live by and to strive for, to follow in their footsteps and achieve greatness. The Trin show only little interest in what lies outside the walls of Trinity, for the city gives them everything they need. The living city hasn't earned its name for nothing, as it spreads and grows by itself. New buildings appear in empty alleys, and the city walls move further out every year. In the distant future, all of Andra'Cil will be part of the metropolis. Therefore, few Trin are interested in what can be found outside the walls of the city. Most of them rarely ever go beyond the borders of their home district. The savage tribes who inhabit the wilderness of the land are spiritually led by the Druids, but they still worship the old gods and see the omens and gifts they bestow upon the faithful. Following their strict traditions, the savage tribes close themselves to any progress which has not been provided by the gods. The tribes hold on to their beliefs, not listening to what the faithless say. They trust that their gods still watch over them as long as they keep worshipping these mighty forces. Tribal life is simple, and the main focus lies on the survival of the tribe as well as following the will of the gods. As long as a person doesn't go against the will of the chief or the druids, individuals are free to do as they please and are not bound by any laws, in contrast to the civilized parts of Andra'Cil. Where the feudal society of the Trin is progressive and open-minded, the tribes are suspicious of races other than their own and have a clear understanding of gender roles and the duties everyone in the tribe must fulfill to satisfy the will of the gods. The cliffs of Andra'Cil, which seem to plunge into the sea of clouds, form the natural boundaries in the west, north and east of the land. From the edge, all that can be seen is the endless white of the clouds and the occasional appearance of a flying monster. These range from bat-sized harmless creatures to giant airship-devouring beasts. The sea can be navigated by the Trin civilization. However, the airships always remain within reach of the cliffs and never strive far from Trinity, for the magic of the ships weakens the further away from the capital they venture, and the danger posed by the monsters increase immensely on the open sea. In the south, the mountain range called the Grim Peaks and the dense forgotten forest block the way further inland. Few travelers who set out in this direction have ever returned, and the people who have found their way to Andra'Cil from there are alien and do not speak of the things they have left behind. The lucky ones among the inhabitants of Andra'Cil are born as shard-bearers, who carry a part of the power of the domains within themselves, merged with the very essence of their soul. Whether they are gifted with luck by the saints or chosen by the gods is up to the interpretation of the respective society. Shard-bearers have the opportunity to learn one of many classes, depending on the domains these shards are filled with. Strengthened by the magic of these shards, they are able to develop their abilities much faster and to a higher degree than shardless. Hello again, adventurer! My name is Korok DM. I hope you enjoyed the short introduction to my D&D setting of Andra'Cil. It is still a work in progress, but if you liked what you've heard so far, why not give the video a thumbs up, and if you want to know more, consider subscribing. I'm a DM for over a decade now. I mainly played Pathfinder, but recently I decided to switch to the fantastic system of D&D 5e. I already have some experience as a player, but now I want to DM D&D for myself. I love to build detailed and lore-rich worlds, so I had to create my own setting to explore with my players, and now also with you, adventurer. I hope you want to join me on this journey, where I further build up the world of Andra'Cil and share some of my many TTRPG stories. But let's jump back to Andra'Cil and I tell you a bit about my goals and the motivation behind some of the core ideas I had. The main idea at first for me was I wanted to scale down a bit. My last world was a massive project. I had this whole continents drawn out, a whole world map you could say, and everything was like filled with ideas. I had ideas for every continent and story ideas and ideas for adventures. But then I actually played there and it felt a bit shallow. The players had to move a lot around to get to the awesome places I have thought out, and it felt a bit like a sightseeing tour, not really like they were actually traveling and having adventures along the way. And yeah, I think one of the problems was that I just started to draw this massive map and said, okay, this is my world and I have to do this goes there and that goes there, and there was not really it was not really filled with life. And with Andra'Cil I tried to create a map where I can just point at anything and there is something there. And when players just look at the map and see a thing that interests them and they say, let's explore that, I want to know more, then they actually can go there and find something. And what is more important to me, they can have this journey along the way, because there are all these little details and this little points on this map and on the map that I've thought out, and they can just go there or see it from afar, and I can throw in a little foreshadowing for later or stuff like that, so that the whole world of Andra'Cil feels like living, feels like alive. And that was the thing that is really important to me. The second and maybe most important core idea is the concept of the shard. It is a way for me to include mechanical terms like the class or levels into the game world itself. It is a way to make it more natural when players talk about why they should not go there and defeat a dragon, because they don't have the proper level yet, and they can state that and say, hey, we first have to go out there adventuring, collect some levels, and then we are strong enough to tackle this problem. Also, it gives me a way to set the stage for the party when there are a lot of average NPCs out there who could just grab some pitchforks and drive the monster away, but now there is this explanation. They are not shard users, they don't have the means to survive this monster or this problem, and so the world needs adventurers, the world needs the party. Another cool thing is it explains why characters can level faster when they go out there and do these awesome tasks and adventure. This gives the DM a special opportunity to integrate the leveling process of the PCs into the story itself. Especially for sandbox campaigns, this is an awesome thing, because now we don't have to go on adventures and level up between the ways and between the adventures, but leveling up is the adventure. We can't just get to level 3 and choose our specialization. The barbarian has to climb this tall mountain with the party, fight off the monsters there, and then ram her axe into the menhir on top of this mountain, while lightning hits the menhir and the storm energy becomes part of her. And doing this task, she becomes the barbarian of the path of the Storm Herald. This is so much more awesome than just saying, yeah, and we had a level up and now I'm a Storm Barbarian. I get that for modules and adventure paths and campaigns where the story is much more in focus and much more tighter, that this is not always the possibility, but shards work in mysterious ways and you don't have to include the leveling process like that. But having the option is a really cool thing, I guess. The third and last core idea is the inclusion of contrasts in the world of Andra'Cil. I wanted to use that so I have the possibility to create tension and drama, so it's easier for the players to find a reason for the characters to go out there adventuring and to leave their home. It is several things I used to create these contrasts. For once, I used civilization versus wilderness. We have the really progressive and advanced civilization with the big city, Trinity. And on the other hand, we have the vast wilderness of the surrounding untouched land of Andra'Cil, where only some small tribes roam. Then we have the contrast of progressiveness and traditionalism, where the city is progressive and wants change and everything is in constant change. The tribes are more traditional on one hand. Then on the other hand, we have more traditional elements in the city with the strict hierarchy of the feudal system. And then we have the more free system of the tribes, where they are just, do what the chief says and the rest is up to you. Then the last contrast is the contrast of new and ancient. We have new technology and new magic created in Trinity. And then we have the old magic and the old ruins all scattered all over the land. And I think that this is a good recipe to create good stories in this world. And this is what Andra'Cil is all about. I wanted to create a setting, a world, where people can tell good stories. Not only for me to use it, but also for other DMs. With this, we have reached the end of today's video. If you stuck with me till the end, you can make my day by giving this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more D&D and world building related content. If you want to know more about Andra'Cil and don't want to wait for the next video, you can visit my Worldbuilding page where I organize my world building, or follow me on Instagram. I put the links down in the doobly-doo. Your Dungeon Master for this video was Korok DM, and I hope you accompany me in the next one.